Should World War III already go into open beta? A question that many have been asking lately. Let me save you some time so you can get straight to the end of this video and hit that subscribe button. Nah, I'm kidding. But seriously, no, I don't think World War III is ready to go into open beta, and I don't think it should for quite a few months, and I will explain my reasons in this video. Welcome back everyone to the channel for World War III video, a game that I will be featuring a lot more on the channel in the future since I'm having a lot of fun playing it. The update that went live on March the 4th must definitely improve the experience by fixing a few optimization and audio issues that were making the game really hard to enjoy. If you have been playing for quite a while and since the announcement of the game going into free-to-play, then you know what I'm talking about. There is no denial about the fact that the team really worked hard on the update that went live at the beginning of March. Before the match, everything felt slow, desynced, wonky, and just not really working, and the audio regularly broke, which made the game completely unplayable for me. Now the game runs a lot smoother and the major audio bugs have been fixed, which have been allowing me to enjoy the game a lot more. But is it ready to go into open beta though? I don't think so. There are certainly a few designs, technical and user experience improvements that need to happen. But more importantly, the matchmaking needs to be fine-tuned a lot, and we haven't seen anything at all of the monetization system and the live ops system that we should expect in any decent free-to-play game. There are definitely issues with the matchmaking and the lobby system. We have seen this during the stress test over the weekend, but also a few days before that. Finding a full lobby and having both teams at maximum capacity for the entire duration of a match is still something that happens very rarely. The lobby and the matchmaking systems need to be improved and stabilized. There needs to be better incentive to stay in the match, and the feature to refill the servers as players leave is not working well enough. And these things need to be fixed before the game goes into open beta, in my opinion. Over the past few days, I've had many games where we barely had over 10 players in the match. And we quickly ended up with 5 players and then just leaving the match because there was nothing we could do. It just wasn't fun. This is not something that players will tolerate easily in the future, and people will review the games based on this, so it needs to be improved before opening the game to a wider audience. It needs to be improved, most definitely. So yeah, the other thing that is missing, and actually the biggest thing that is meant to ensure a free-to-play game is going to survive, is missing in the current version of the game, and it has not been seen or tested at all. There hasn't been a single basic test to verify how the game will monetize and retain its spenders and players with live operations such as events and good offers and stable gameplay, which are 3 critical things to do before opening the game to a wider audience. All games are different enough, and sure, you can take a general approach on how to implement the basic foundation of your monetization system and live ops as well, but you also want to have the security of testing those systems with a smaller core audience of closed beta testers, so you can make the right iterations before opening the game to everyone else. Every game is different enough to require specific designs at some point in time, even in monetization. Now is a good time to test the water, see what sticks and doesn't, and how it can be perfected without hurting too many players. If they go in open beta right now, as the game is right now, and add a broken monetization system later that everyone hates, they would have to spend countless hours redoing everything and making iterations of a monetization system that doesn't bring money in the meantime, in a version that is widely accessible to everyone, and a lot of players will be frustrated. Not only that, but it will also be very hard to run more marketing campaigns with a bad monetization system, since if none of the new players coming from marketing campaigns spend money because of a broken monetization system, the cost of install per players will be very high. And if you want to run a successful free-to-play game, you need the monetization to work well. And if it doesn't, the priority then becomes quite clear. The priority becomes to make it work before working on anything else, such as new weapons, new maps, new features, and so on. Because the business case for the game is completely broken. If you make a free-to-play game that doesn't bring money, then there is no reason to keep it around, no matter how fun it is. There are also quite a few little things that we need to see improved in the game in order to make an open beta version a lot more satisfying. First of all, some designs are quite frustrating and allow some griefing tactics. For example, one of the HQ on Moscow, one of the maps, is so open and the red zone is so badly defined that tanks can get a good view on the wall spawn and shoot you at the repair station. Some controls and shortcuts could also be improved. The one to open the inventory, for instance, could also be the same as the one to close it, instead of having two different keys, I to open it and an escape key to close it, making it difficult to change items quickly during the action. There is a serious lack of feedback in audio and visual effects when shells from the tank hit something, either you while you're in the vehicle or when you shoot something. Like when I drive an APC around, I constantly have to keep an eye on the HP of the vehicle because I don't feel anything when it gets shot by something. There is no option to copy a weapon setup and put it on another loadout, or even copy and duplicate loadouts to make customization quicker. The spawn system is sometimes frustrating since you appear right in front of an enemy, while the game should actually be designed in a way that it obviously doesn't tell you there's someone around, but it also doesn't spawn you right in front of them and put you in the trap or something. I could and probably should make a whole video about quite a few designs that could be or should be changed in order to make the game a whole lot better, or at least good enough for what most people would expect in an open beta version. To conclude, I think World War III should not go into open beta quite yet, and the developers should most definitely focus more on the technical aspect of the game, but they also need to test their monetization system. As a player, it's really easy to forget about it. Obviously, we focus on the gameplay experience, but if we want World War III to be around for a while, it needs to be a commercial success from a financial point of view. It doesn't need to be a greedy game. It just needs to work well, and right now there is no guarantee that it will be the case, but we also cannot test that with a version that is widely open to everyone who are going to criticize the game as if it was a final version that they are playing. Right now, as a free-to-play game, World War III has not proven itself one bit, and I don't think an open beta is the right version to do some retention and monetization test, because it will be harder to manage players' expectations and have the freedom to test a lot of different things and make iterations based on learnings. They should do that with a more controlled, smaller and more dedicated audience, the current closed beta tester. Ultimately, there is also a problem in the industry with the meaning of open beta versions and their purposes, which are not understood properly by enough vocal players who consider them as final versions, and usually judge and review a product that is not ready to be judged and reviewed fairly. We see it all the time. When World War III goes into open beta and becomes free to everyone, there will be people who will discover World War III for the very first time, and the game would suffer greatly if it has to go through a phase of extensive monetization testing with a wider, larger and less dedicated and informed audience. So if you care about this game, you will be patient and hope that the developers do not rush it with their open beta, and if you care a lot and you can already play the game, you will ask them to think about letting us, the current closed beta testers, to see the first few iterations of the monetization system. Let us try it, or create a close under NDA group that can test it, if that doesn't already exist. But do not go live with a monetization system for the first time in an open beta. Test it a little bit before that, see what sticks, check the reactions that people have. And think about it from a player perspective. What if the developers go live with a monetization system in an open beta that actually includes a lot of pay-to-win stuff, which hopefully is never going to happen, but you never know. But what if that happens? We all know what that's gonna do to the game. It will leave a really bad reputation that the developers will have a really hard time to fight over time. So let's make it good for an open beta version first and foremost, and let's make sure that obviously we can improve the technical bugs and so on of this game, but also we need to see the monetization system. Remember, this is meant to be a free-to-play game, so it needs to be solid, and it needs to be solid before a lot more people can play it. If you agree with me, please consider leaving a like and sharing this video around, and if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to support the channel and never miss any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.